everybody. My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. I hope everyone is having a good week. I apologize. I have not, done a live in a hot minute. I have had a lot of stuff going on mentally and physically with my health, and I've just not had the had the desire to even do a show. I have been over on Remain Calm's channel. Excuse me. I have been over on Remain Calm's channel, going back over things in the Summer Wells case and discussing those. But by the time, time rolls around for me to do my own show, I'm sort of fizzled out. And, the atmosphere here on YouTube is just, it's gotten to where it's a place I don't even want to be anymore. It's all about drama, and that's all anyone cares about is drama, and no one really seems to truly care about true crime, and discussing those kind of things. But I keep on keeping on and keep on doing what I do and discussing true crime and not crama. So, for those who do want to listen to true crime, I am certainly here. There's a lot going on in the world of true crime, a lot to talk about. I have several topics I'm going to talk about tonight, several cases, and then basically sort of wrap it up all in a neat little package and discuss what all these people have in common. So let's get to it. Last week, Leilani Simon went back to court. She went for her actual arraignment. She has pled not guilty. She was she was asking for bail. Bail was denied. Her lawyer tried to, tell the judge that she is not a danger to herself or society, and that she is on some type of CPS regimen and hopes to reunite with her other children that she didn't kill, that she's not accused of killing. And anyway, the judge denied the bail and said, look, this girl was on probation when she was arrested. So, that doesn't sit well too well with me. So no, I'm going to deny her bail. Now, what kind of CPS regimen she's under makes absolutely no sense to me right now. I do understand the law. I do understand that she, as if we stand right now, she is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. So therefore, at this time, she is legally innocent in the death of Quentin Simon. But, it doesn't take rocket scientists to know that this woman, should not have any involvement in her kid's life, should not, be any kind of part of her children's life right now. Even under supervised visitation. I just, don't see it. Even whether she's, innocent legally or what. This is all about legality. This is not about whether she's actually innocent or actually guilty. There was certainly enough evidence to arrest her for the crime of murder of her 2-year-old son, Quentin Simon. So, I don't, that's enough for me to say that she doesn't need to see her other children. So what CPS regimen she's under, I have no idea. And, I don't think that Billy Joe should be allowed to see those kids either. She's the one that vowed to protect them and took them away from Leilani and then left them there with her. And, this is what happened. This is where we are. So I think they burned their bridges and they lost their chance, in my opinion. Also, we're preparing to go to trial for Lori Vallows. Her trial's set to start in a few weeks, and a lot of pretrial motions and things going on with Lori Vallows. And, is Lori Vallows, is she mentally ill? Is she brainwashed? Is she, what truly is the situation with Lori Vallows, and how do you evaluate this situation? It's baffling. Also in the news, Julia Fastana, or Julia Wendell, as she is also known, the young lady from Poland who thinks she is Madeleine McCann. She is here in the U.S. now. She's under the care of Dr. Thea Johansson, who is supposed to be a psychic. She's supposed to be a doctor and a private detective and all sorts of shit. And to me, she looks like she ought to be on an episode of Basketball Wives. I mean, it's just hard for me to look at this woman and take her seriously. I can watch Paris Hilton speaking out on behalf of the kids at Provo School and what was done to her and done to those kids, and what has been done to these kids in these, reform type schools and stuff. And I can even take Kim Kardashian seriously to an extent when she is trying to talk to the president and speak on behalf of, prison reform and things like that. But and they've both got sex tapes. But yet there's just something about Dr. Fia Johannesson that I just can't even take her serious. Like, she is just a complete fraud to me. And I know that may sound strange in comparing her to Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, but there's just something about that woman I just cannot take serious. And, this story with Julia claiming and thinking that she is Madeleine McCann and all the attention that it has gotten, yet there's no proof of anything to back up any of her story. No proof at all. Either I have missed something somewhere, or no one has come up with any kind of proof of any of her story that she's telling. She claims to have been essayed by a man named Peter Ney when she was growing up, and she thinks that he could be kin to Martin Ney, who has been a widely known suspect in the Madeleine McCann case. She thinks that there's, could be some kind of connection and that they are related to each other somehow. And, there's just some kind of, strong possibility that she could be this child that we've, been missing, Madeleine McCann, and never found any trace of her. But yet, we've seen no kind of documented proof that this young lady was essayed by this man, Peter Ney. We don't know who Peter Ney is. Was he arrested? Was he put in prison for it? No one has come up with any kind of documentation on this situation. And yet this story is being pushed in the news every single day. Now, if I were Madeleine McCann's parents, of course, DNA is the key. And if there is any chance that young lady could be Madeleine McCann, and if I were Madeleine McCann's parents, of course I would want to take a DNA test with her. Of course I would want to know. But to me, this all just seems like one big scam on behalf of Dr. Fia Johannesson, on behalf of Julia Faustina, however you pronounce her name. It just seems like it's going to be one big scam. But I have no doubt in my mind that there is something not right with this Julia girl, and I feel like that there's something that went very wrong in her childhood. I don't know if she was adopted. I don't know if she could be another kidnapping victim that we just don't, really know about, that never made it to mainstream news. I don't know what went on in this girl's life, but something did. And, her family just says, she is lying to all of you, and we're not going to play these little games with her, and we are not going to submit to her DNA test demands to prove that we're her family, and her mother and her father and whatnot. And they're just not going to discuss it. Um, which I find silly. If this is your child and you know damn well it's your child and you have nothing to hide, then please, humor us all and humor her and give her a DNA test. I mean, she's out here claiming to be someone's missing child. And she has got a family right now in turmoil, thinking, oh dear God, dear God, is this it? Or are we going to find our child grown and alive? Or when she turns out not to be Madeline McCann, their heart sinks back down again. We know she's dead. We know she's, and give up again. I've actually seen this happen before. I know someone who played a scam on someone. I won't call her name out. I won't call the case out or anything. But I know a girl, and she happened upon a missing child case, and she had the same name as the missing child, same first name, and she coincidentally used to live in that same town where that child had gone missing at. So this girl who has mental issues, decided, oh, how cool would it be to get some attention in trying to convince this woman that you might be her missing daughter. Some people are just so starved for attention, they want to be anybody than who they are. Some people hate their life so damn much that they would love to be someone else, unfortunately. And that's exactly what this girl did to this woman. And it was sickening. It was completely sickening to watch, because I knew she was full of shit. I knew she wasn't that woman's daughter. But this girl's just somebody I know casually, and she's so starved for attention that, she tried to get the woman's hopes up in convincing her that she could be her missing daughter, and she was trying to develop a relationship with her and stuff. And, this woman just did not have any interest in, appeasing her, attention problems, she had no desire to play her little games unless she really was her daughter, and she wasn't. So, but this story that story was under wraps. It's known about, but it was, for the most part, not nearly as widely known as this is all becoming. And I think I think Julia may be playing Dr. Fia for a complete fool, but yet, maybe Dr. Fia is looking for some attention herself. I don't know. But their whole story is sketchy to me. She's also revealed that she thinks she might have cancer or something, and so she's getting testing and treatment for all that. And she's talking about suing her family, the family that claims to be her family, but she don't think that they are her family. Anyway, she's planning on suing them and all sorts of stuff. And like I said, I think this is all one big scam, if you ask me. So, also something that's been talked about in the news lately is Jazz Jennings. If you don't know who Jazz Jennings is a transgender male to female. One of the youngest children that we all know about to transition. Jazz was born a boy and showed behavior that he wanted to be a girl at a very young age, like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old. And parents felt that it just wasn't a phase or anything like that, and did not try to correct their son in any kind of way. They instead appeased their son's wishes, and Jazz began to start transitioning from a boy to a girl at a very young age. And now we have seen her whole, the biggest part of her transition on a reality show on TLC called I Am Jazz. And we've got to see her go through this whole roller coaster of being a transgender, being accepted as a transgender, and bathroom situations at school, being recognized as a girl, all that kind of stuff. And we've also watched Jazz go through the actual sex change from male to female play out on a reality show. And a clip has come from the latest season of I Am Jazz, of Jazz talking about how she just doesn't ever feel like herself, and she's battled eating disorder and binge eating and overeating and severe depression and just all sorts of stuff. And this girl's tragedy and her life has played out like as entertainment on a platform for us all, everyone in the world to see. And TLC's made a lot of money off of it. And it's that's what TLC does. They have My 600-Pound Life, have 1,000-Pound Sisters, they have just all these different shows that make money off of people's tragic lives. It's tragic for someone to be so obese that they weigh 1,000 pounds or 600 pounds. That's not entertainment, but that's what we accept now as entertainment. And it's there's just no words for it. So you have all these people out here on YouTube, and their haters are calling them tragedy pimps and stuff because they're profiting off people's tragedies and whatnot. And do I think it's appropriate? No. I don't think it's appropriate. You know, I'm here and here to talk about these, you know, true crime cases and talk about these things free of charge. I'm not here as a creator to make money or to profit off of any of these tragic events that I talk about. It's just not me. It's not who I am. It's not my nature, but far be it for me to deny it to anyone else. You know, but unfortunately, you know, that is what we have accepted as okay. You know, it's funny, there used to be a Son of Sam law, and it used to be that criminals, you know, couldn't profit off the crimes that they committed. So people profiting off other people's crimes that they committed and other people's tragedies, you know, don't seem too right either, in my opinion. But that's what we've accepted as the norm. That's what we've accepted as entertainment as well. That is the sad truth of the fucked up, warped ass world we live in. And I'm honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday, that I can't, I have a hard time dealing with living in this quote woke America generation. And I just don't know how much more of the madness I can take. You know, and when I say this woke America, that is not a compliment. That is not saying you are great and you are the truth and you are, you know, on top of it. You are, you know, so right. No, it's an insult. You're not awake. And if you were awake, you wouldn't be awake for very damn long, because you would die of literal shock if you accepted truth. Thank you, Mind of Monsters. How are you? Welcome. Thank you so much. You know, if some of y'all had to were actually awake, I mean, like you wouldn't last long, because you would die of shock. You would die of the reality. You would die from the truth. And you know, one of the people that I listen to a lot is Candace Owens. I absolutely love Candace Owens, and I get it. She's a controversial figure, and you either love her or you hate her. But what I love about that woman is she speaks the brutal, honest truth. Whether you want to hear it or not, whether you like it or not, she speaks truth. And yet politics, you know, she does, you know, live in the world of politics and speaks on politics a lot. So, you know, truth in politics and lies in politics, in her world, it gets all kind of jumbled up. And, you know, so people don't like her. But if she was not a figure in the political world, where you have to accept truth based on, you know, what political party you belong to or whatever, she, you know, she would damn near be a preacher. I mean, And there's been a few things that she said that I don't agree with, but we're not always going to always agree with everybody. But for the most part, like I said, I love Candace and her brutal honesty, and that's me. That's how I am. I'm just going to be brutally honest about stuff and not sugarcoat anything about anything. That's just me. That's just how I am. So I'm sure you are all aware by now about Audrey Elizabeth Hale, the 28-year-old woman in Nashville who acquired 7 guns and walked up into the Nashville Christian school and took the lives of 3 innocent 9-year-old children and 3 innocent adults. And, here we are. The big question is why? Why did she do this? I want to acknowledge the victims of the Nashville Christian School. Evelyn Dukakis, who was 9 years old. William Kinney, who was 9 years old. Haley Scruggs, who was 9 years old. Cynthia Peak, who was a substitute teacher there. Catherine Kuntz, she was the head of the school. And Mike Hill, who was the janitor there at the school. As Audrey Hale entered the school, she shot the hinges off the doors, shot the glass out of the door, and got in. And Mike Hill, the janitor, is the first victim that she took out. She made her way around the school and, as I said, took the lives of 9-year-old Evelyn, 9-year-old William, Haley, Miss Cynthia Peak, and Miss Catherine Kuntz, as well as Mike Hill. Police responded to the shooting very quickly. They entered the building, with very quickly. They was just like, let's go, let's do this. They were not horse footing around, and did take down the shooter, Audrey Hale. Now, Audrey Hale is also a transgender. She was transgender, female to male, because her family did not accept her as a transgender, and she lived in a very, Christian home, so they did not entertain her, transgenderism. So she did, although she went by the name of Aiden and she, tried to dress like a boy, she also, went by her given name, which was Audrey as well. So Audrey was come to find out, she was under care for emotional disorder, for an emotional disorder. Her family had no clue what she was planning, what she was doing. In fact, when she walked out of the house that morning with the red duffel bag full of guns, her family asked her, "What's in the bag?" "Oh, nothing, blah, 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 da, da, da." "Okay, see you later, honey." I mean, when your kids are, no matter how they are, when your kids are walking out the door you do we stop and think about asking them, what's in that bag? What's in that sack? Or what you got in your purse? What's in that lunchbox? What's in your backpack? Do we stop our kids and check their purses and backpacks and bags and stuff when they leave the house? No, regardless of what age they are. Apparently, we're going to have to start doing it. And that's absurd and horrible for a family to need to do. But a lot of people have mental illness and they don't go out and commit crimes. But we just don't know when or if they are going to nowadays. And if y'all remember, do y'all remember in the movie Boys in the Hood when that little girl, when they were going over to look at that dead body and it turned out to be the guy that Therius had shot that tried to break into their house. When that little girl said, "My mama said a bullet ain't got no name on it." Mental illness ain't got no name on it. It ain't got no name on it. It affects people of all shapes, size, colors, races, religions, sexual preferences. It affects everyone. It ain't got no name on it. And although, like I said, a lot of people suffer from mental illness, they don't go out and commit crimes. But unfortunately, some of them do. And we don't ever know when it's going to be one of our loved ones. Or when it's going to be our kid's school that gets shot up. Or our church that gets shot up by a racist. Or, we don't know when we're going to be out at the nightclub and get shot. We're not safe anywhere anymore. We're not safe in our homes. We're not safe in our schools. We're not safe in Walmart. We're not safe at the nightclub. We're not safe anywhere. And we can talk about gun reform and gun control and all that shit till the cows come home. The problem is not guns. The problem is mental illness. Let's be real about this. The problem is mental illness. I am not anti-Second Amendment. I am all for the Second Amendment. I'm all for the Second Amendment for people that are mentally stable enough to own a gun. And if changing some laws or enforcing some laws or upgrading some laws or whatever can do anything to help keep a gun out of a mentally unstable person's hand, then I'm all for it. And I don't know why you wouldn't be for it. Why anyone wouldn't be for that. I'm not trying to take guns away from anybody. I think we also need to, look into changing something or doing something about how easily obtainable it is to get an assault rifle. These assault rifles have become the weapon of choice in these mass shootings. So, yeah, if you can't agree that we need to do something to try to fix something to keep these guns out of unstable people's hands, then I don't know what else to say to you. But that is what we have in common with every single person that I've mentioned in this podcast. Julia Fastano, Leilani Simon, Lori Vallows, Jazz Jennings, Audrey Hale. What do they all have in common? Mental illness. Plain and simple. These people need help in some way, shape, fashion, or form. Now, are we going to keep entertaining this mental illness? Are we going to do something to help these people's mental illnesses? Are we going to keep tragedy pimping off these tragedies and these people's mental illnesses and stuff? Are we going to talk about the real problem here? Because that's what it is. The problem is mental illness. And some of y'all may not even, you can't understand mental illness because you don't suffer from it. And therefore, you just can't understand it. You know, we live in a world now where do y'all know what causes mental illness? Do you truly understand what causes mental illness? It's not just a, hi, fried green tomatoes, how are ya? I wish I had some fried green tomatoes right now. Do you understand that how do I even want to say this? We live in a society where mental illness is in our environment. It's mental illness is not just a chemical imbalance you can take a pill for and everything be okay. It's not just something genetic that you inherited from Aunt Susie who was, you know, schizophrenic. Environmental issues are what fuels the fire for mental illness. So every day that you're out here spreading hate and you are being ugly to people, you're bullying people, you are treating people like shit, you are abusing people sexually or physically or mentally, you are aiding in that person's mental illness. You're aiding in creating a world of hatred. And yet it just it goes on day after day after day after day. It goes on right here on YouTube in this community every single day. There have been hate channels, pure hate channels, that have spawned out of a little missing girl's case who was nothing but love. Summer Moon Utah Wells is nothing but love. She wanted to be loved and she loved everyone. And there has been so much hate out of people here on YouTube that has spawned out of that child's name. People deliberately trying to ruin each other's lives, cause people to lose their kids, cause people to lose their jobs, cause people to lose their fucking minds over hate. I spent all day, what was it, yesterday or day before yesterday, with a headache for the rest of the day from listening to the drama here on YouTube and the shit talking between creators. It caused me a full-blown headache for the rest of the day. I kid you not. And I dozed back off to sleep after listening to all that mess, and I was dreaming about the shit. And it was just playing over and over and over in my head while I was trying to sleep. That is a nightmare. And then, you know, we all stop and we ask ourselves, why on earth did this poor girl go shoot up this school? Why on earth is this poor girl trying to pretend like she's a missing child? Why did this girl kill her 2-year-old son? Why did this woman kill her children, kill her ex-husband, kill her boyfriend's wife over a bunch of religious nonsense? Because these people are mentally ill. And their mental illness has been caused by life. It has been caused by the life they have lived or been forced to live and the shit that they've been drugged through. That's why they've done it. But no one wants to seem to acknowledge that kind of thing. Everyone wants to just continue spreading and spewing more hate. Spreading and spewing more hate. You know, we've got all these creators. I'll tell you the real reason why I don't want to be here on YouTube anymore is because there's so much egoism here on YouTube amongst creators. My dick's bigger than your dick. My channel's better than your channel. I got more information. I got more inside scoop on my channel. You know, I live in a nicer house than you do. My car's better than yours. The egos are insane. And that's all that anybody seems to care about is fueling those egos. And then there's the ones that all want to sit on each other's channels and hate on somebody and just yeah. On and on and on every single day. When I say I don't like you, I don't like you. And I'm done with it. I have nothing further to say. Because you're not worth the oxygen it takes for me to sit and talk shit about you. That's just the way I feel about it. But why on earth this Audrey Hale has gone and done what she's done? You know, she's left a manifesto. She has, you know, she has said some things. The police allegedly have a theory of why they think she committed these crimes. And right now, all we can do is speculate. They seem to think that she is a former student of the Nashville Christian School, so they feel that she had some kind of grudge against this school. You know, maybe she Maybe she doesn't like what that school teaches, or what that school, going to that school, how it affected her or whatever. I spoke earlier about Paris Hilton and, what happened to her at Provo. Um, do you see her going and shooting up Provo School? No, you don't. She goes about things the right way. She has, it took a long time. She's not the Paris Hilton that we all thought we knew. But she finally came forward and she told her horror story of what happened to her at Provo, and she has taken the correct measures to use her famous platform to help victims of that school and help these kids. So, what possibly could Audrey Hale have had against this Christian school that she would go take the innocent lives of 3 defenseless children, and 3 innocent people who just simply have a job working there? That would be like me or my youngest daughter. My youngest daughter attended all the same schools that I did growing up. That would be like one of us going back to our elementary or junior high or high school and shooting it up because of things that happened to us, maybe when we went there, because we were both bullied, actually. And my child was bullied by the kids of some of the kids that I was bullied by, actually. Do we go and take the innocent lives of the kids that are attending school there now because of what happened to us back in the day? That doesn't make any sense. And I don't understand why people are resorting to taking the innocent lives of people who might belong to a group of a certain group or a certain place or whatever. Just because, like, say, Joe Biden pisses me off, is it, or I don't like Joe Biden, does that mean it's okay for me to go shoot up the Democratic, National Democratic headquarters? They're not responsible for what Joe Biden does. They can't help it. They didn't do anything to me. They're not the president. It's not fair for me to go and take their lives. So, I just don't, I don't understand this going and taking the innocent lives of people that, are, that didn't do anything to me. I just don't understand it. That's the, one of the reasons why I won't buy that, I won't buy the murder taking his own life theory in the MH370 case. I just don't buy it. So what do you all think? What do you think that, what do you think about what Audrey Hale has done? Do you have any theories on why you think she did what she did? Or, do you think that, I think the real problem here is, you know, is mental illness. And like I said, mental illness it has no name on it. And we just don't know who it's going to hit, where it's going to hit, and how it's going to hit. And, you know, how do we prevent it, and how do we, you know, what do we do about it? It's it's just the spreading of hate and, you know, trauma. One of the people who helped children and victims escaping from the school was none other than Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Melissa Joan Hart, who lives in Nashville. She actually lived near Sandy Hook when Sandy Hook happened. And then she and her family moved to Nashville a couple of years ago, and it just so happened that she and her husband were driving down the road, and they saw a woman come walking out of the woods up to the highway, and then all of a sudden they saw all these children, and you know, cars started stopping, and they saw a helicopter, and, you know, Melissa Joan Hart, God love her, she did exactly what I would have done, and that's she stopped and she reacted. She didn't stop and start filming shit with her cell phone and being a looky-loo. She got out of her car and she started helping. She helped those children get across the street. She helped that woman, her husband, helped another woman, gave her a ride and took her somewhere, and she was able to be reunited with her children. You know, this was a terrible situation going down and happening, and Melissa Joan Hart and her husband just happened to be in that area, driving down that road, and saw what was going on and stopped and helped and reacted. You know, which is what everyone should do when you see someone in any kind of a distress or needing help. Don't whip out your damn cell phone and start filming stuff. You know, help, react. I mean, it was just heartbreaking to hear her tell Ashley Banfield her story, and how, you know, she had also lived near Sandy Hook when Sandy Hook happened. I didn't know any of that. You know, she was just she was traumatized, and those poor little children who are now traumatized, they one of them asked her, what's happening, what's going on? You know, those poor little kids were totally innocent, had no idea what in the world was happening or going on. You know, you're not supposed to be a child that young in elementary school, you know, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you know, and dealing with a gunman with enough ammo to start a small war coming into your school. I've told this story before, and it's heartbreaking, but when I took my youngest daughter to her senior breakfast when she graduated, the kids all went back to their respective elementary schools and had breakfast with their teachers, and I was taking a picture of her underneath the school sign, and I happened to look in the foyer that was once just a big open foyer when I went to school there, and now it looks like visitation to go visit someone here in prison in Arkansas. It's unreal. Completely unreal. I come from an era where, I went to school with a bunch of rednecks, and there was pickup trucks with 2 or 3 shotguns hanging on a gun rack in the window, unlocked. And none of us would have ever in our lives thought about shooting up the school. We might have fought it out at the lockers, or fought it out in someone's backyard, or down at the pits, or somewhere like that, but never in our lives would we have ever pulled a gun on each other and shot up the school, no matter how bad things ever got. And now it's just, it seems like once a week now there seems to be one. And we just never know where they're going to be or where they're going to hit. And it's heartbreaking. It's truly heartbreaking. But I just don't know. But that's all I really wanted to talk about, was just kind of give my thoughts and opinions and feelings about everything that's in the news right now and going on right now. We've got a mental illness problem, people. A serious one. And, something's got to change. Something's got to be done. But you all have a wonderful night. And please, if you love all things true crime, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. It helps me get into the algorithm and helps my videos to be seen by more people. And everyone, please be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
What's happening, y'all? If you're looking for a sad true crime podcast, then get up off of that thing and boogie on over to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast, where we give you the lowdown on all things true crime. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Catch you on the flip side.